Hello, this is Scott Loomis, and today's overview video is about using your awesome, super awesome Wixie School Administrative account. If you are unaware, any district and or school that uses Wixie has not only a district administrative account in which accounts are configured, whether using a CSV or aligning with Google or Clever, for example, as well as individual school administrative accounts. Now, the district account, again, can do all account setup, but the school accounts only have access to see data usage. And their data usage would be limited to the people in their building, while the district account not only can set those things up, but it sees account usage throughout the district, or if it's an individual school, of course, that school. Now, this can be particularly valuable for school-based tech resources for a couple different reasons. First, you can obviously get a quick look at who is and who is not using Wixie, and this includes both teachers and students. So you can look for grade levels, you can look for subject areas, you name it. But in addition to that, it gives you some data that you may use with a personal improvement plan or goals for the year. So if I'm a technology integration teacher and I've talked and met with my principal, and one of my goals for the year, of course, is to improve the instructional use of the technology with teachers. I do a Wixie training on Monday, for example. I may set myself a personal task in, say, 3 weeks to look at the Wixie data and see what type of impact that had on use. So, of course, I can generate data not only at that 3-week or 1-month period, but I can do throughout the year, but personally after 3 weeks, it's a great indicator. Are teachers using it that attended the training? Or maybe I met with just the grade level team. So there I hang out with first grade. We do 30 or 40 minutes on Wixie. And in 3 weeks, I'm looking at the data. And of course, I can look at the data and I know the answer to my question, but you could approach that team a little clueless and say, so how are things going with Wixie? And of course, they may say, it's going great. You can say, yeah, I know, I looked at the data. I'm so impressed with what I saw. Or they say, well, not so great. And the question is, of course, well, what else do we need to do to make this happen? What else can I do to help? Especially when Wixie is so powerful in so many different curriculum areas. So that's what the purpose of this account is, and let's go ahead and take a look at it. I'm going to log off of my teacher account, and I'm going to log into my school account. Now, it is essential to kind of realize, and actually maybe I'll just back up here, that you cannot access your school account via maybe a Clever or Google, for instance. This is completely independent of those data configurations. You're going to have to access your school administrative account via Wixie.com. So just go to our big front door, so to speak, when it comes to an access point. I'm going to click sign in, and you are going to need to go sign in with your school, which is school-specific usernames and passwords. Now, if you don't know yours, please email your regional representative. I'll put my contact information up as a kind of connection point as well towards the end. So I'm logging in, and what you should know about the Wixie administrative account is it does not provide usage. There's no project making here. There's no assigning the student templates. There's no seeing work. You just have, as a school-based person, the straight-up data. So we can see, for instance, that it has a start and end date. So this is just the last 7 days, and my top 5 users, and this is, again, just my fake elementary or Loomis elementary school, so it's a fictitious school. But if necessary, and if by chance I happen to have up to 50 top users, I can pull that down. Looks like I only have 5. I can back this up all the way to the beginning of the school year. So if I want to run it for like August 1, just to see who used it before school started, or heck, I can, if I've had my Wixie account for longer, I can go back into the previous years. So if I need to compare data from 2018-19 to 2019-20, I can easily do that. So you can see, and again, for a fake school, that's not terrible. This Scott Loomis guy is all over it. He's accessed to 208 times and 308 projects over the last 14 months. And whatever day that was, November 6th of 2018 was a great day. A lot of people used my Loomis elementary account. So you can see I got other high points as well. So what does this data show me? Again, because I backed it up, I can see top users. And now I have more because I went for the whole year. As you can see, they bump out a little bit. I can track, or I can identify publisher, is mostly the integration teachers or school-based instructional folks, teachers and students. So this student, Jamie Loomis, who I happen to log into from time to time, is my most active student, where these different teachers are the most active teachers. The data on the right is important. Visits, how many times they actually logged in. I may see a student with 7 visits, but they may be on for like 18 seconds, which means they're accidentally clicking the icon if they're in like a clever, instructional tools resource or Google or, Gaggle or Schoology or whatever. So basically it's showing they're just accidentally doing it. So duration does have an impact, hours, minutes, and seconds. But if they don't log off properly, it could have them logged in for hours when in reality they were only there for 5 minutes. So another big indication for me is projects. This person, again, my account, I've logged in 208 times, but I've actually opened up and worked on 308 projects. If I have a teacher with a huge visit number but very little projects, my guess is she's logging, or he or she is logging in to access student work that must have started from a blank page compared to them opening and assigning templates. So like this person, Peter was on 11 times, 108 projects. My guess is he kept looking and looking for great resources, right? So typically, like this person, 23 times, 16 projects. That means in addition to logging in and possibly looking at student work, they're also looking at templates. And of course, we encourage the use of templates to help facilitate that integration activity, to integrate the lesson, and to make it efficient as possible. If they're starting from scratch, there can be more leg time involved. But again, you know your students better. I would see more intermediate teachers, have the kids open blank projects compared to more structured work we would see with the primary students. So the data is relevant. We sort by visits. That's our primary hit. And the other information is just there to process. Now, if you want to look at your whole building outside the 100, you can always export the user statistics. And the user statistics, which I am going to do here, comes in 3 different sections. So that's ready. Let me open it up. The first section is going to be day-by-day use. The second is going to be, popped up on my screen. The second, and here we go. Here's our days. I'm going to bring it up a little bit. There's our date, the visits, the projects worked on, and the number of visits for the duration. And that's going to run for the duration. I did it from last August, followed by teachers. So these are now teachers, and I can see all of them. So if you have a large school with a lot of students, 500 plus students, you have a big staff, that 100 menu pull down isn't going to give you enough. So now I can look at, back to Excel. Now I can look at the actual teachers and their use. And if I want to as well, I can eventually look at the student use as well, right? So and again, this is your way to determine that, if I worked with kindergarten teachers, how is each kindergarten teacher doing? And if it's just one teacher not using it, again, that's a nice casual conversation you have in the hallway or a quiet moment at the photocopier or something like that, right? Now, one of the big things I like to do too is this is a great opportunity to celebrate usage in your building. And probably the coolest activity or idea along this line came from Kevin Ricard from Virginia Beach Public Schools, and he created this Wixified shield. And what's wonderful about this is he would print up a couple bad boys, these are like 4x4. And again, if he saw teachers using it, the data suggested they were using it regularly, with no fanfare at all, he would just post this on the wall outside their door in the hallway. Just like you've been Wixified. So I'm sure you can make these for other programs. They wouldn't be very valuable. Most people would be like, only the Wixie one is important. Of course. But if you want this file, again, that's something you can easily email me, and I'll be happy to provide it, again, as a way to recognize those teachers who are looking to enhance their instruction through using Wixie. And again, they're doing that by differentiating by product. They're losing a resource sheet from the resource guide and having the kids demonstrate that knowledge in Wixie instead. All right. I'm going to log off of my teacher or my school account. I'm going to log back in to, my teacher account so I can pull up my contact information before I call it quits. And there we go. If you need to contact me for your school's administrative account, I'd be happy to provide it if you live in Maryland or Virginia. Otherwise, reach out to your regional person who is also able to provide that. And if you don't know who your regional person is, shoot me an email, and I'll be happy to direct you to them. Okay? Thank you again. I hope you learned a few things, and have a wonderful day.